The coach spends extra time with the player on and off the field. Do you tell someone? I've been having this conversation with thousands of Canadians across the country, and there's some pretty common responses that come up, namely just addressing the complexity and the difficulty in this one, because it's not always obvious what we're even seeing, let alone what we should do. So one of the common responses is, well, what if it's just a really attentive coach and that student or that athlete is really struggling and they just need the extra help? And secondly, how do I even know when a line is being crossed? How do I know when it's gone from a helpful relationship to a harmful one? And this tells me that people are curious and want to think about it in a practical way, but it also shows that it's a really complex thing to think about. And how to intervene is maybe a little bit delicate for some people. And so I want you to think really practically, if this was something that happened to you, what would you do? Who would you tell? And what would be the consequences of you talking to someone about this? So take a moment now and think about that. In this scenario, we're referring to a coach, but you could easily insert any other person of authority in your life, whether that's a teacher, whether it's a faith leader, whether it's some mentor you have in the community, maybe a boss. Really, the issue at the core of this scenario is that abuse of power and the recognition that it's okay and positive to have relationships with adults, to have someone who's looking out for us, who's mentoring us, who maybe took us under their wing and is looking out for us and willing to listen if we're struggling. That's good and healthy, but we need to be aware of the signs that a relationship is not healthy, that it might be leading to an abuse of power or an abuse of trust, or that that person is being groomed by someone with bad intentions. But it's hard to do the right thing in this moment because we don't often have that much information to go on. We just have a gut feeling. We have something telling us that this just isn't right. It's okay to act on just a feeling that you have. Your gut is telling you that something just doesn't add up here, and you have the right, and we would say the responsibility, to ask some follow-up questions. Maybe approach the athlete and say, something just seems kind of off about this. Are you okay? And in doing that, you're opening up a window for them to disclose to you if things aren't going okay. But you also have the right, and we would say, again, an incentive, we want to incentivize you to talk to an adult, someone in your life that you do trust, to say, there's a situation going on, I don't have all the details, but something tells me that we need to look into this, that we need to ask some questions, because it just doesn't seem right to me. It's hard to do the right thing, it's awkward, you don't want to get people into trouble, you don't want to seem like you're starting rumors. We understand the complexity of this particular question and what we're asking of you, but we really want to create a world in which we look out for each other, where you're willing to ask those tough questions because you know that someone would do the same thing for you. And we can't create that environment unless we have the courage to speak out and to ask questions when we feel like things aren't right. And if we did that more often, then we would have a space in which we could all look out for each other, which is what we want.